Fit to Love Season 2, Episode 18, Renew Your Feminine Spirit. Today's show brought to you by Youthful Essentials Wrinkle Serum. Turn back the hands of time with an antioxidant-rich, all-natural, eco-friendly serum that you can feel good about.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas from EO Fire. Get ready to get physically, emotionally, and spiritually fit with LA's best personal trainer and empowerment strategist, JJ Flazanes.
Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flazanes.
Hello and welcome to Fit to Love Sexy Saturdays. Today's show, Renew Your Feminine Spirit. I'm very excited to have on a very special guest who I've known for a very long time, Helen Hodgson. She's a licensed massage therapist and founder of Serve the Goddess Mobile Spa Services that she founded in 2000. While working in spas for many years, some of the world's finest, she met busy clients who were frustrated that they were spending too much time driving to and from the spa. She learned from years of watching her mother, a registered nurse and mother of 5, that as caretakers, we women are often the last ones to nurture ourselves. After Helen's own experience of exhaustion from overgiving that led to days spent recovering in bed, Serve the Goddess was born. She became an advocate for empowering women to practice extreme self-care and self-love by inspiring them to access their inner goddess through reverence, rejuvenation, relaxation, and the healing power of touch. I already feel rejuvenated just from reading your bio. Welcome to the show, Helen.
Thank you so much for having me on. I feel rejuvenated myself. Thank you.
Well, I had to give it a little oomph
Y-
of feminine energy as I was
Yes.
reading it and make it a sensual experience because we
Yes.
can't talk about this topic today in a masculine linear form,
We certainly
can
can't.
we?
No, we certainly can't.
So you do a lot of work, obviously, as a massage therapist, but you also hold retreats. And I want you to tell the listeners a little bit about the retreat work that you do.
Oh, yes. This is one of my life vocations is to lead women's retreats because, like I said in the bio, we're the last ones to take care of ourselves. And we use busyness as an excuse not to have time to take care of ourselves. So that's my mission. My goal in life is to lead women onto the sacred journey of relaxation, self discovery, rejuvenation. How does that sound?
It's amazing and awesome. And I love adding in, I love the name of your company. I always have Serve the
Thank
Goddess.
you.
I think, did I meet you in 2000? I feel like it was 2000,
Yeah,
2001.
I was around that time because certainly we were fueling up our businesses, both of us together. So I probably had started it, yeah, right around that time that we met.
And I love bringing that goddess energy into today's
Hmm.
show. On Sexy Saturdays, we talk about marriage and dating and self-care in that way of feminine energy, masculine energy, and we haven't yet used the word goddess. And so we're in season 2, and I think it's time to bring in and bring out our inner goddesses, ladies. So you have 5 easy steps to connect with your feminine
I
energy.
do.
Let's start with what step number 1 is.
Step number 1 is reflect. And when I think of reflect, I think of time to slow down, to shut down, stop pushing, and reflect on your inner thoughts. And what comes to mind, of course, is a daily meditation practice. If you're not meditating on a daily practice, now is the time to start. It's the foundation of getting in touch with your feminine energy. It's time to reflect on your inner self and stop the chatter, stop the multitasking, turn off the brain, the monkey brain. So that is my first step to getting in touch with your feminine energy. And I know probably a lot of people on the line are like, oh, I don't have time to meditate. When do I do it? Where do I do it? Well, let's not overcomplicate this. I recommend you do it at a time that's best suited for your schedule. It could be in the morning before your family gets up. You can easily find a little nook in the house, make a little sacred space, pillow on the floor or on a chair, wherever you're comfortable, or it could be in your backyard if you have a backyard or on your balcony. I like to do my meditation first thing in the morning before coffee, and my husband knows better not to disturb me. And I head out onto my balcony and sit in meditation for 10 minutes. You could have a guided meditation if you'd like to start off with a guided meditation. There's plenty of stuff online. I also have a series of guided meditations on my website. And plug in, use your cell phone, your headphones. Enjoy 5 to 10 minutes of time devoted to reflect. That's the first step.
Now, in that reflection, and you said in meditation, I think for some people, especially left brain, A-type personalities, business owners, right? When they hear reflect and go inside, they're looking, they're wondering, and they're searching. So can we talk a little bit about the reflection? Because in meditation, some people, because lots of different people do meditation in different ways, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's steps for where you are. I know for me, for a long, long time, the idea of meditating meant sitting upright in a chair or on the floor with no music, no sound, and trying to have no thoughts, right? And for as fast as my brain works, that was virtually impossible. That was not desirable on any level. Now, I always had dance, because for me, dance is that activation of my feminine energy, and especially in a partner dance like salsa, where my brain literally does shut off.
Yeah.
Because I am being led, and I no longer am controlling pretty much anything except my feet and my feet on the beat. But otherwise, the moves are really, I'm being led, and you have to get into a place of surrender for that. So you mentioned the 5 to 10 minutes of reflect/meditation. Is it important for anyone to be taking notes or looking for anything, or is it important for them to just sort of surrender to whatever's going on, or are they trying to slow down or erase thoughts?
Meditation, let's say there's a lot of people out there teaching meditation. Some people will say, observe your thoughts, recognize them, and move on. Some people will say, it's okay to talk to yourself during meditation. I think really you've got to find out what works for you. And certainly it could be, a mindful meditative walk. It doesn't have to be sitting cross-legged, like you say, upright. I think whatever you need to do to reflect and shut your brain off. I am going to touch dancing, drumming on one of the other points that will connect you with your feminine energy. But for this particular one, I wanted to start with slowing down because we're all multitasking. Let's face it, we're all busy. Our brains are constantly working. And I think for the feminine energy, which is all about compassion, love, patience, receiving, letting go, that if we don't shut off our brains, which way you decide to do, which way you need to do make that happen is totally fine.
It's a very interesting point about slowing down. Well, it's one of those things that people hear all the time but ignore most of the time, right? But here's how you know when you really need it. Because some people who are type A and using work as an addictive way to really numb out to their feelings, you know you need it, like not even a question that you need it, when you're waking up in the middle of the night with thoughts. When you're repressing your thoughts so much that the nighttime is the only time you are still. So just keep that in mind, because I know some people who wake up with anxiety thoughts, and those thoughts are there all day long. You're just ignoring them.
Exactly.
So if you really want to help yourself sleep, try this 5 to 10 minutes of being present with yourself. So that way you don't need to wake yourself up in the middle of the night to have that thought that your brain really wants to show you is something you've been stewing over.
Right. And another way to know that you really need it is when you tell yourself, I don't have 10 minutes, because you really need 20 minutes. If you don't have 10 minutes, you need 20 minutes. It's like, I don't have 10 minutes to take a walk in nature every day. Well, then you need to be out in nature for an hour.
I love it. Okay, so number 1 is reflect, and part of that is meditation or some kind of meditative process, whatever is right for you. And what is step number 2?
Step number 2 is connect. And I like to use nature as a way to connect, because as women, we are so connected with nature, like it or not. Even the moon cycles, we are connected to the moon because it works in the rhythms of our menstrual cycles. A lot of women don't realize that. They don't realize why we have 28 days in the month, because the moon works with our menstrual cycles. So I also do, apart from my mobile spa and my retreats, I do hold full moon events every month in the South Bay. And we talk about letting go during the full moon. The new moon was about starting new projects, setting goals, and the full moon is about releasing them. So for women to be connected in nature, it's the best way to get us in sync with nature. And even if you don't have the beach at the end of your street that we do, so luckily here in the South Bay, if you only have a balcony, you can connect with nature through plants, through looking up at the sky. But it's really about taking time to step into nature on a daily basis and look around and appreciate the nature around you, the colors, the smells. Again, this really will connect you with your feminine energy because it's about surrendering, it's about serenity. And I find that nature is definitely one of those ways that will make me connect, like it or not, makes you slow down. Oh, and please don't take your cell phones with you when you go on your nature walk. I don't know about you, JJ, but if you look around, we see more and more people with cell phones while they're out walking.
Well, some people are taking them for music because they're exercising or
I
listening to a
understand that.
podcast like this, right?
Okay,
Well, but
that's good
it's
point.
a distinction so that way people can know what their goals
Yeah.
are and to understand. Actually, in season 1, we did a show about the side effects of EMF, of electromagnetic
Ah.
frequencies, and that is actually very detrimental to you. So, and you're mentioning connecting to nature. There's actually a science called earthing,
Mm-hmm.
and earthing is us absorbing that energy from the
Yes.
earth that
Yes.
literally is going to reduce inflammation. It's going to help your nervous system. There are a lot of benefits to earthing. And so, absolutely, there's like a science to back up the connecting with the earth in order to help not only with health and wellness things, but as well as emotional things and as well as, energetic things like feminine energy and being present and being mindful and being in your body. So both of those things, we've done the show. So if you're interested, go check out on a Wellness Wednesday about cell phone health hazards was the name of that show. So,
Interesting.
and then definitely the connection with nature. Yes, so powerful. So powerful when people go away on a vacation or even just play around in the dirt for a little while and then they feel so rested. And I know people think it's because they've been on vacation and it's not. For a lot of people, it's because you actually were in touch with the earth for long, long periods of time.
Yes, and the trees. This last retreat I did, it was up in Ojai, and it was the most lush place you've ever been to. It was like we were in Maui. It was so lush. The vegetation was incredible, surrounded by trees. I had everybody connect with nature, and we did a circle discussion about how we feel when we're in nature and how we tell ourselves again that we don't have time to get in nature. And one woman said, all I need to do is just sit in my backyard. I forget I have that beautiful backyard. So you
Mm.
don't have to go on vacation to connect with nature. It's around us all. So, we all have public parks. If you don't have a backyard, I mean, just looking at the trees, all the oxygen they give out and the movements that they have to remind us of the subtleties of nature, which is just like the wind blowing through the trees. I'm looking at my tree right now, and it's so calming.
And I'm all about efficiency. So you could do step 1 and step 2 together. You could
Yes.
sit outside with your feet in the grass or in the dirt for 5 or 10 minutes and you'd be earthing, connecting with the earth and reflecting all at the same
Yes.
time. So I'm all about efficiency. For someone that says, really, I have to go do this and I have to go do that too. Well, you can do them both at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
What is step number 3?
Step number 3 is accept. And I like to talk about people connecting with their emotions and being okay with the wave of emotions. This is what we have with the feminine energy. We're not flatliners. I'm married to an engineer. God bless him. But he is, he was on the same wavelength. I'm up and down, just as we all are as women. Depends on where we are in our menstrual cycle. But we even without the menstrual cycle, you're still going to have ebbs and flows. It's what makes us women. So being okay and accepting your emotions and not having judgments about them and letting them go. Part of the feminine energy is about letting go and releasing. So that's what acceptance is about in terms of feminine energy. What do you think about that?
So, well, obviously, I absolutely am going to agree. I know with everything that you're saying. This is not about that. This is about the idea that some people, I'm going to talk to the left brain versus the right brain people. Accepting for a lot of right brain people, feminine energy, creative energy, very easy. They are usually people who are in touch with their emotions and are like their emotions. They really enjoy the whole spectrum of emotions. They feel alive in every emotion. And then we've got the left brainers who are very afraid of their emotions. And I think when someone who's more dominant left brain hears accept, they go, okay, like intellectually, okay, right? And I think what you're talking about is a more embodiment and a cellular experience, right, of the emotions
Yes.
on a deeper level. And knowing, I usually, when I explain emotions to people in a left brain kind of way, I like to talk about the seasons. Imagine if we didn't understand seasons and all of a sudden we went from summer to fall to winter, right? Like we'd think the earth was going to die. We'd be in a panic thinking that what's going to happen now is the world going to end if we didn't understand about seasons. But we understand it's a cycle. And after we come from winter, then we go to spring and it starts all over again. And so same thing with our emotions. Actually, in Chinese medicine, each one of your organs is connected to an emotion.
Exactly.
And in Chinese medicine, which I'm sure you know about it, our bodies are built to experience a cycle of emotions that literally pass through our entire energy field all the time. But it's where we get stuck in one of them that throws us off balance. So, okay, so we have two more. We have 4 and 5. But before we get to that, I do need to take a break and thank our sponsors. If you're like me, you like to find products that are completely safe and non-toxic, especially for your face. Let me introduce you to the Youthful Essentials Wrinkle Serum. This totally natural wrinkle serum is going to work wonders for rejuvenating and revitalizing your facial appearance. You can reduce and even eliminate those unsightly wrinkles, crow's feet, and age lines. Go to fit2love.tv/products to order yours today. That's FIT2love.tv/products. What does your self-care routine have to do with dating and relationships? Everything. How you treat yourself is the blueprint for how you show others how to treat you. I call this your body blueprint. Ready to change your body blueprint and manifest better quality relationships and physical results? I am giving away free copies of the second edition of Fit to Love, How to Get Physically, Emotionally, and Spiritually Fit to Attract the Love of Your Life. Visit fit2love.tv/ebook to download your copy today. That's FIT2love.tv/ebook. Let's transform your body and your relationship. Okay, Helen, I'm already feeling very grounded by our conversation. So tell us, what is step number 4?
Release. And I just did my goddess retreat, and the focus was on the ancient Greek goddess Artemis, and she was the archer, as you probably know. So I hired a real archer, and we did a whole morning of learning how to do archery.
I love it. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
the women were so excited. And I love archery because it is great for anybody. You don't have to be an athlete to start out and do archery. So the archer teacher told me how she has a youngest client of 4 years old and oldest is like 92. So a lot of the women weren't athletic, but they all were able to hit the target. So it was so rewarding. But I'm bringing up this archery up because obviously it's about releasing the arrow, focusing on your target and releasing the arrow. And we had a little circle time afterwards. And I asked the women, what was your experience? What did you feel? And one of the women told me that she was afraid to let go of the arrow, which is a very interesting analogy if you think about it. She was holding on to the arrow. She was so focused on the target and with the strength and the resistance of when you pull it back and you can feel it, your muscles, you're holding that arrow, holding the bow, that she was afraid to let go. And I think that is part of feminine energy, is the letting go and not being so focused on the outcome and not worrying so much about the outcome, that you set your goal and then you release it. As long as you do your homework and you're prepared and you planned whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever your goals are, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, that you find your target, you know where you're going, you pull back, and then you release. You release the arrow. I think that's a wonderful analogy about releasing.
I got very excited when you even just mentioned that you did that.
Mhm.
I can only imagine how, like you said, empowering
Mhm.
that was for people, and how interesting to notice, because archery isn't something that most of us do on a regular
No.
basis, if ever at all. I've done it, but let's say someone's learning it for the first time and they come up against, like, there's no preconceived issues other than I'm afraid I can't do it, or whatever limitations that they have in their mind. But like for that woman you mentioned who couldn't let go, so telling, right? It's like a mirror right there. Like, how you're doing this is going to give you so much information about how you stop yourself in life when it's not about doing this activity.
Right.
So I think that's so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. And I think part of the feminine energy too is it's about receiving and being patient. And that's why another reason the archery was so good, because you really do have to be very patient. It's a slow sport. It's not an active sport. It's slow. It's controlled and slow and released. Um, so that's step number 4.
Okay. Well, actually, that reminds me of golf. I don't
Mm.
like golf, but I
Okay.
definitely love archery, and I'm not sure why. I think it's probably because of the negative forces on your spine in golf, where I think archery is better for your body.
Mhm.
But very good point about the patience part. So if I want to practice that focus and patience, I will definitely choose archery over golf. Okay, so what is our last and final
The
step?
last final step is flow. So getting into your creative flow. And I don't know how many women on the call, if they journal, I'm sure they do. But taking up a new sport or activity that gets you into scrapbooking, vision boarding, cooking, flower arranging, just getting into a creative flow. I think we can again use busyness as an excuse not to be creative, that we're so focused on our families, so focused on our careers that we forget that creative flow that runs through our brains and it enables us to connect with our feminine energy. It could be anything that you find creative. It could be singing. I started a frame drum lesson 6 months ago. I'm entirely hooked. It's something like you talk about with your dancing. You have to shut off your brain. You have to focus. And for 2 hours while I'm at that class, that's all I'm thinking about is drumming and being connected to these other women.
I have a meetup group and we do all kinds of spiritual energy moving kind of things,
Mm.
and actually drumming is on the list for the next thing that we're going to do together. So I love that, because not only is it allowing that creative flow vibrationally,
Oh.
it's uplifting,
hmm
right?
Especially with the frame drum. The frame drum is one of the oldest drums, and women were the original drummers, by the way. The women priestesses would invoke the goddess with the frame drum. It's even mentioned in the Bible. You'll see it in ancient artifacts. And it's the only drum that reverbs back into your heart chakra because you hold it on your left side. And it's also a vocal tool. You can sing into it. It magnifies your voice, and it represents the elements. So it's a wonderful tool to learn to play. Yeah.
Spell the drum.
Frame, Frame.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if that's what I had it right. Frame
Yeah.
drum. I've never heard of the frame
Yeah.
drum. That's awesome. I will absolutely be actually looking into that, because I want a group to do a drumming circle, but this would be better to do it with that kind of drum, correct?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a feminine drum. It definitely invokes and makes me connect with my feminine energy. And the teachings are all related to the goddess, because this is what they used to use to invoke the goddess.
I love it. Okay, so just one more question before you tell everybody where to find you and how to work with you, because I'm sure everyone's going to be interested in looking up your next retreat. Just check it out and see if it's something they are able to attend. And if you live in the area, of course, you could definitely benefit from Helen's Serve the Goddess company. So the question I have for you is, have you experienced with your clients and friends and people that have done your retreats and have worked with you or in your company, and also just friends and people in general that you've witnessed, have you been able to see transformations from people, like bring out more feminine energy to where people actually really live differently?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the release or the taking off of the mask just during the retreat. And I've now witnessed this many times, and this is really what makes my heart sing, is when we meet on the Friday night and we do our circle time. And as the weekend evolves, the mask drops. And what I mean by that is the face, the feminine face becomes soft and open. It's like we wear our mask during our daytime through our daily lives, in our businesses and in our some relationships. It's like you have to put on, a protective mask. But once you're in safe environment and it's a trusted environment and you're working on yourself to connect with your femininity, the goddess, whatever you want to call it, the face definitely softens. I saw somewhere the other day witnessed a report on a photographer did photographs of people who had done a month of meditation. He photographed the face before and then a month later, and there was a definite softness in the features because they were more relaxed and connected. And when I saw that, it reminded me of the women's faces. And that's because we're sitting in circle, which is powerful in of itself. But I'm looking around, I'm witnessing each woman as she evolves and becomes more connected with nature, with herself, and has during the weekend able to let go of the busyness of life, which kind of toughens us up.
Absolutely. I think we hold on to resistance, and that softening releases all that need for that tension. And that'd be very fascinating to see those pictures. So tell us, Helen, where to find you, how to work with you, how to benefit from you.
Yes. Well, my website is servethegoddess.com. And maybe you can say that because without the British accent.
Oh, all of these links are going to be on the show notes page, but actually, servethegoddess.com. Absolutely be on fittolove.tv under this show, the show notes. But for people that are sitting at a desk and can be typing it in right now, servethegoddess.com.
Servethegoddess.com, yep. And my next retreat is coming up in January of next year, January 15th through the 17th. It's on a weekend, and it's going to be up at the Shalom Institute, which is in the mountains of Malibu. It's about an hour and a half drive from LA. And each of the retreats, I focus on a different goddess and bring in different elements. This one I'm doing is on the Greek goddess Persephone, and she was the one that was pulled down to the underworld. So she is very much the dreamer, the artist. That's the modern day archetype. And as a special guest, I've asked a dream expert to come and join us. So we're going to be journaling on dreaming, and we're going to have open fires. We're going to be doing storytelling, myth telling around the fire. It's going to be a winter retreat, but they definitely will keep us warm with the fires. And it's a little out in the mountains, but I can just envision us all huddled up with blankets around, telling stories and doing dreamscaping and discovering the ancient Greek goddess Persephone. So that's if you want to join us on the next retreat. And I do offer a full service of massage and spa services. I have a team of up to 50. So we do work with individuals and couples if you have an anniversary coming up. And then also do a lot of spa parties for milestone birthdays, for graduations, for baby showers and bachelorette parties. So we offer all of those other services too. And I do a discovery session for women who want to find out which ancient goddess they most relate to and why. And I have spa packages that tie into the Greek goddess as well.
I love it. And I think we actually have to have you back to do a show on that very thing, on which Greek goddess are you.
Oh, what a great idea.
I think we're going to need to do that and have you come back.
Idea,
so
yeah.
Because you can't tease me with that and then not have us not go and finish that conversation. So we will have you back for sure. And I want to thank you so much. Everyone check out Helen's stuff and come on over to fittolove.tv and click on Serve the Goddess and sign up for her email newsletter list so you can be notified for all her future events. And I thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly video casts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If the show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fittolove.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT, the number 2, LOVE.TV. Have a fit and fabulous day.